Hello friends. So this is going to be a different video, or in this I'm going to talk about one more myth surrounding civil services examination. I really like breaking all these myths, or talking about myth itself is an exciting fact. There is this myth that uh, I'm going to be honest and tell, because if I say something like this, it can be a little provocative also, because this is a very touchy subject of language. Certain school of thought believes that the results in Tamil Nadu has been less because of Hindi. I'm going to say very frankly that it is a no, or it's not the reason, or it cannot be the reason. See, I know this examination up close and personal for, I think I have written 8 mains. I have written and I have gone to interviews several times. I don't think, or I have been in this prelims hall as many times as possible. In the hall, I have felt this examination, not outside the hall. In the hall, I have felt how the questions feel, how these Hindi words work. See, what the reason that people give is that Hindi can have a better comprehension than English for the people from North India. But I have read Hindi, so I will make this confession. I have read Hindi till my 12th standard, and even in civil services examination, my language optional, that is one optional, will be language you have to write. The regional language that I write is Hindi, and I have a basic command over Hindi also. But what I wanted to say was, uh, I have, see, in a sense, first I will make this confession that Hindi is one of the most toughest subject for me too. See, being from a person in Tamil Nadu, I am not that connected to Hindi as a language every time. I don't speak Hindi, or I don't have the chance of speaking Hindi to anyone, other than the examination that I write. If you don't write if you don't have a conversation with with somebody, the examination part becomes a little difficult. And mind you, I had a very difficult task writing Hindi as a regional language paper in civil services examination. But I cannot accept this fact that we are not able to produce as much results as any of the states, other states, uh, because of language barrier, which, or if there is a conversion of these questions into in a regionally accepted language, it is possible. See, first thing is that civil services or UPSC as an organization, I won't think that they do all these things with this, how they think about, with the cruel intention and nothing like that. It's merely a bureaucratic angle. Uh, Point is that if we convert into every language, they will find very difficult to have a standard of questions, and there may be several interpretations to that, and that could lead to a lot of court cases, and that could increase the time period in which the UPSC exam is done. And you might very well know UPSC is an organization. They have this time schedule in a very correct way. If the examination is today, they will conduct the exam. Similarly, they will publish the results. They won't even delay the publishing of results. I have seen so many government examination in Tamil Nadu or any other state, they delay this results for a very long time. But UPSC, this is the time the results is going to come, it will be published. And one reason is their efficiency. And I would look at Hindi, or having these two, Hindi and English language, for as a question paper, as a constitutional mandate, one particular thing. Second, because of this efficiency which we have. It's not very easy to conduct in. See, you can say that many other examination they do conduct it, but civil services happens to be a top laid examination where even a small interpretation of question can lead to a lot of confusion. But you can ask me, how do I say? So the point, how do I say, means I have observed these questions in the hall, and I don't find it that having a lot of edge for somebody. You can have some word, you can ask me this question, so there may be some word which can actually enhance your answer. For example, reading a question in English may be, a little difficult, but Hindi can give you this a basic understanding of the question that has been asked. You can term it that this can lead to the edge. But civil services is such a examination, which I found out is that in 20 questions, if you write 5 questions very well, I will write the next 5 questions very well. The other person will write the next 5 questions very well. And the other person writes the next 5 questions very well. And very closely, if you observe, I have made it in the previous video also, the competition, we assume that it's a very huge number of 12 lakh people. 12 lakh people is not the competition. It's a competition between 5,000 people. And this competition actually is very equal. There will not be an edge for anybody. So you can ask me, so how do they make it into the list, and what is that which is causing this discrepancy in the results? If you ask me, I feel that very importantly, the following are the reasons that I think in Tamil Nadu we are not able to compete. One thing is that, frankly speaking, we don't talk about optionals. Or see, optional, the preparation level goes to the extent. See, there is no point in saying that materials available give you this edge. No, I am saying as a preparation itself, in the preparation stage itself, what we see is that we just go to a class, take down the notes, and we think that we have completed the optional. Optional does not work that way. And I think students in the north and students in other zones, they've understood this. They've understood this and they are working on this. See, I don't want to blame that the students here or not. Students here are doing it. But whether they are being helped to do, that is where the problem is. If you closely watch, the problem is not pointed towards the student community. I am saying the problem is pointed towards the teaching people. That is what I want to say. This optional, somebody has to help, or somebody has to be very close and point out the mistakes which are happening. And I know for a fact in the examination hall, Hindi could not have changed my marks, but optional certainly could have. This is where I feel that somebody who's writing this examination up close and personal will definitely know that language does not help you clear this examination. What helps you clear is having an edge in the optional. Or the next point is that this is the first point which I feel that where we are actually making a mistake. Second point, we are concerned with the test batches for GS. See, test batch for GS and all is an old concept. Now you think about this answer structuring, how you can write. If you very closely watch, see, this is very openly you think about it. This is the era of ChatGPT. Would anyone be convinced, or would anyone be thinking about points at this moment? The world has transformed. At this moment, you are worried about the point somebody writes. How can that point reflect in the mark in the UPSC examination? No one knows what is reflecting in UPSC examination. What works is your way of answering. And your way of answering, I feel, is actually, made deliberately low, or not deliberately, has been a problem because there is a tendency for, overlooking newspaper reading and going for materials. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. Problem one is your optional. Optional, we just go to the class, note down the points, we assume that this is going to work. It will not work. You can ask how the others are doing, means they are putting in extra effort. That is the point. That extra effort, how are we going to put and increase the result is what we should be thinking. Instead of that, what we think is that Hindi is the reason. See, how can that be possible? You can ask anyone, who has written mains, 2-3 times or 4 times and has gone for interview or in service. So anyone in service, you ask them whether they felt any disadvantage because the questions were not only in English. They would definitely see. I was there. I did not feel any, any difficulty. Or any of my friends who have cleared, you can ask any of them. I don't think any time they have, the last 10 years, I have heard them, complain about, I was complaining about Hindi. The problem was that I was the only person complaining that Hindi was there. I was not able to write this regional language. See, it was a disadvantage because I was not taught Tamil in my Kendriya Vidyalaya. I read Hindi and that became an issue for me. But how can that become an issue for getting scores? That is, see, in that nowhere it actually, gained me or made a loss. Or none of my friends had this thing that, oh, you know Hindi and you will score. See, nothing was that kind of a thing between the conversation that we had. Our whole motive was to clear this examination. How we approached was thinking about optional, thinking about GS. How do you write a question, structure a question? Think about that. Instead of that, what we are thinking is how many tests I'm writing, how many, what is this material available for a particular option? What kind of an help that is going to give? I do not know. How is, when you go inside the hall, you will understand nothing will work except for the things that you have understood. Nothing will work. If you have not understood a concept, it will not come. Nothing will work in terms of answer writing also, in terms of test batches also. Answer writing, how the question should be structured, whether you have done that, your habit has been done, that will work in the examination hall. And you can ask the students, say that they've written test batches and they actually said that test batches help. Test batches did not help. The way they structured the answer in those test batches helped. There is a very minute difference in that. Thinking about only test batches is not going to, see, these students have worked on their answer structuring in that test batch. It is not the points, please understand it. Or you can openly think about it, very openly think about how can some, an examiner in the era of ChatGPT worried about you not writing. So this person has not written these points, or these 2 points are missing. So these are the points which I asked. Do you think that UPSC works on that basis? Definitely not. They are thinking about how you have understood, how you have analyzed, how you are presenting it, how you think about the question, whether you are able to relate the question in the correct way that they have asked. These are the things that you have to concentrate. And I really feel that this is the reason for, the results going down. I don't, even now, I don't genuinely think that it's the fault of a student or it's the fault of somebody, getting a bad result in a particular state. We have to think in terms of how do you change that. If something is wrong, we have to work towards correcting that. Thinking about that, this is the barrier which is, see, I think or one more, if we go to one more point, there are something which you can control and something which you cannot control. See, these things are not under our control. We can point fingers and say, okay, this is why it is. It's not under our control. How long are you going to think about something which is not under our control? Think about the things which you can control. How do you structure an answer? How do you prepare for an optional? How do you make marks in an essay? Think in terms of that. Think in terms of how do you clear this examination? How do you clear a prelims examination is what you should think, rather than thinking about what score somebody has gotten. Because 100 questions does not matter. Your cutoff matters. Where we lie in the cutoff is what is this game. Think this examination through these methodologies, rather than thinking about, something which is not in our control and something which I really feel does not have an impact in this examination. You can think about anyone who has cleared, you can ask them, they would definitely not have a problem with this. They may have a problem with their optional preparation. They may have a problem with their correction feedback. They may have an optional, preparation problem in how to increase their mark. That should be the point where you should also go, instead of lying in this ways where these are all frivolous things which in this examination, this keeps happening, all these rumors keeps happening about something which is terribly wrong and stuff like that. See, you are an officer at the end of the day. Tomorrow you will be an IAS officer. You cannot point fingers at anybody for anything. You have to take responsibility, and that is how you become an accountable officer. I feel you should think about this, work on this, stop saying that, a particular language, which is fortunately or unfortunately is one of the most important languages in India, and it's an official language. See, I'll end this video with saying that there is no point in having, for India, a country like India, not we cannot have a national language, and Hindi is not a national language. In Constitution very clearly says that, but it is an official language. Let's work with that. See, what is there, you work with that. Real is rational, rational is real. This is the statement of Hegel, and it was asked in civil services mains essay. What Hegel is saying is this only: a social system is real. You have to play with it. You cannot think about, something which, imaginary things which are going to come. Play with real things. Play with things which you will clear this examination, instead of the frivolous things. Thank you all. All the best.